difference is where the margin sits. Now, this has three implications worth flagging for the allocators watching this particular space. First and foremost, the compute rent accrues to whoever owns the stack. The hyperscale cloud providers, for example, AWS, Azure, GCP, and specialized inference layer represented by firms like CoreWeave and Lambda, sit downstream on the model and capture the recurring compute spend. Chinese labs distributing through these rents participate in the demand curve but not in the infrastructure capex return. Secondly, we have to understand the weight distribution is reversible but infrastructure is not. The open weight models can be delisted or throttled on the platform layer as the regulatory and geopolitical pressure intensifies. A model's presence on Open Router or on a hosted Western cloud is a policy contingent position, not a secured economic channel. Data center infrastructure, by contrast, is a durable asset with multi-decade depreciation schedule. And lastly, we need to talk about the domestic inference that will eventually close the loop. Token consumption inside China has expanded from roughly 100 billion per day in early 2024 to about 140 trillion per day by March of 2026, with the growth of over 40% in the first quarter of this year alone. If the domestic build-out of the compute capacity continues on the current trajectory, Chinese labs will increasingly serve their own workloads on domestic rails. That is the point at which token export begins to mean something closer to the literal sense. However, what's the most important thing out here is the monetization gap, and that is the headline. For all the noise about the share of leaderboard, the revenue arithmetic is the cleanest summary of where the industry actually sits. This snapshot gives you the company and the reported annualized revenue. When you are talking in terms of OpenAI, you have 25 billion annualized revenue in terms of ChatGPT consumer and enterprise API. When we are talking about Anthropic, we have 30 billion in annualized revenue in terms of cloud API and enterprise-led. When we are talking about the leading Chinese labs, we have 15 million to 100 million as we talked about before. And when we are talking about the largest Chinese cohort, which is up to 100 million, we have outliers only. Cohort median layer is lower. So essentially, the numbers are implying a revenue gap of between 2 and 3 orders of magnitude between the dominant Chinese lab and their US counterparts. Even granting generous growth assumptions and assuming conversion of the domestic enterprise buyer, the trajectory of convergence is measured in years and not in quarters. This is before accounting for the compounding effect of reinvestment. The US leaders are recycling revenue into training grants, talent, and hyperscaler commitments at a pace that structural subsidy alone will struggle to match. For the institutional allocators, the takeaway is that the token usage share and model leaderboard position are upstream indicators. Revenue, gross margin, and the composition of the enterprise contract backlog remain the variables that actually discriminate between the durable and the transient positions in the AI value chain.